Good morning, everybody. This is Charles with Exodus Dispatching and Training. I'm stepping in for Calvin this morning, hosting the training that he has every Saturday from 10:15 to I think 1 o'clock. The live online operational training. I want to welcome the YouTube viewers, the Facebook viewers, as well as for those who are tuned in live to the trainings through the free conference call portal. So welcome everybody. Again, I'm Charles. I have my own platform, Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, as well as Freight Broker 101 Training for Beginners. Today we're going to go over the basics of dispatching. So Dispatcher 101 for Beginners. And if you are a guest tuned in, I'd like to welcome you. If you are just joining the RBBS platform, I'd like to welcome you. Maybe I can help answer some of the basic level questions that you may be experiencing and kind of help you get over that hump. So Sergio, let me mute those. Sergio, unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So you're asking about your power only carrier that you're trying to invoice your carrier. You trying to decide how much you're going to charge your carrier, or you trying to figure out what your carrier is going to charge the person that they're picking up from?
I'm trying to figure out how to charge the shipper, or to be able to pay the driver of the tractor, the power only driver, just because what the customer wants is he wants a tractor to go to the port, pick up a container, bring it to their warehouse, have their people load up the container, and then the driver would take it back to the port. And I don't know how the process is.
Are you operating in the capacity of a dispatcher, or are you operating in the capacity of a trucking company at that point?
Just a dispatcher.
Okay, so as a dispatcher, I would recommend I would just concern myself with charging the percentage that you're going to charge your carrier to run that load. The carrier needs to figure out what he's going to charge the shipper for his service of dropping and hooking that container from the port back and forth, whether he's going to have quick calls or rapid gate cards or rapid gate pads, things like that. Your main focus should be your gross percentage that you're going to charge for whatever the carrier is invoicing the shipper for that load. Now, if you want to put more time and concern yourself with what the shipper and the carrier are going to charge each other at back and forth, that's your choice. But I personally wouldn't get involved on that side as far as that. I would just deal with your percentage, because your dispatch agreement doesn't dictate you having to understand or know what that shipper and carrier are coming to an agreement with. Your dispatch agreement is dictating what you are going to charge the carrier for your service of finding them loads. And in this case, it's a power-only load coming out of the port going to wherever it's going to. You understand?
Yeah. So would the percentage be more or less the same for a power only as it is to a regular carrier?
The percentage will be the same across the board. Doesn't matter the equipment type. The percentage that you're going to decide to charge is going to be a constant percentage, whether it's 5%, 7%, or 10%. The equipment type is irrelevant. Like if you're charged 10% for a hot shot, the same you would for a drive-in or a reefer or a flatbed. So the percentage across the board is going to be the same. Now you may get to a point as you build your business and you scale and grow, your percentages may vary based on the equipment type then, but starting out, I would recommend keeping the percentage the same across the board. Like, for example, 10% hot shot, flatbed, drive-in, reefer, power only, things like that. Keep it the same across the board. But as you grow and scale your business, then decide, okay, well, if it's hot shot, I may charge 8%. Or if it's a drive-in, flatbed, or reefer, which are the three equipment types that move the most freight, you keep that consistent at 10% because you want those high numbers that high volume type of equipment that produces the most freight, you want to keep that percentage high so you can make good money with those. So
I see.
It's all about the business acumen and how you apply that as you grow your business. So
okay. And would I be able to find those power only drivers also on Trucker's Path?
Yes, you certainly can. Let's go to there. And for those who, Trucker's Path is a load board that we go to find drivers, to find carriers and things like that. Let me real quick. Trucker's Path is one of the load boards that's used. I have it in my back office. I think it's in the back office of the RBBS platform as well. You can use Trucker's Path as to search for loads, or you can look for it to search for carriers of specific equipment types. So let's log in. So when you log in, Trucker's Path, and this is one of the ways, like when you're first starting out as a dispatcher, one of the ways to when you're in the module, like I teach module 1, 2, 3, and 4. Module 1 is dealing with carrier acquisition. One of the ways to acquire carriers or get carriers under a dispatcher agreement is to look for them on like truck search feature of Trucker's Path. So when you first log into Trucker's Path, you have loads, truck search, GPS tracking. I select the truck search link. It brings you to this screen here. Now, what Sergio was mentioning is their power only. So what is power only? Because people, you're going to hear that term. People are like, well, what are you talking about? So what is power only trucking, right? So this is a power only unit. It is just the truck itself. It is just the truck, the tractor, the power unit, or power only. That's what that means. It's just a truck by itself. So if you have a carrier who just has their own truck without the trailer, then they are a power only carrier. And what they do, they go to different DCs or distribution centers to pick up trailers for the customer or the broker, whoever brokers those loads from the shippers. They pick those trailers up. They call it dropping and hooking. They'll pick it up from one location, take it to another location. So this is a power only or a tractor or just a truck itself. So that's what that means. So when we go here to Trucker's Path to do a search for power only trucks, the pickup, I'll leave all states as pickup, and then under equipment type, you have right here where it says power only. So I'll select any to uncheck it, and then you can just select power only right there if you just want to select power onlys. And then of course the safety rating, you want to just leave it satisfactory, and then you come across a new. So it's gonna be less than 316 because we only selected power only. So right now you only have, and it's Saturday morning, it's early, so you only have 3 power only carriers on this specific load board to search for. So, but that's how you do it on Trucker's Path, Sergio. Okay.
Copy. I see them on the east side of the states. There's nothing in California showing. I see the little dots.
Right. One's in VA, the other one's in Texas, and I'm not sure. Oh, the other one's in Chicago area. So.
Okay, so I'll just keep checking back, maybe like within an hour or so, and see if maybe somebody will pop up in California and try to talk to the guy.
Right, and as the day progresses, it's the weekend too, so maybe on Sunday when carriers are starting to look for loads and to begin their week, the following week on Monday, then you could probably start seeing if they'll start popping in and making themselves available. So, okay.
All right. Now the other question I have is the price per mile, is that more or less the same to a power only driver as it is to a regular carrier with a flatbed or reefer? Or
it's going to be slightly less because they don't have their own trailers. They don't have their own flatbed trailer. They don't have their own drive-in trailer. They don't have their own reefer trailer. They're picking up trailers from the shipper and taking it to the receiver. So the power only load cents per mile may be like slightly less, maybe 50 cents less. So if you got a drive-in tractor trailer carrier owner operator, they have their own truck and trailer, then they can command a $2.25 a mile. But if you got a power only who just has a truck, they may say, well, give us between $1.75 and $2. So it's a little less because they don't have that trailer, so they don't have that added expense or added leverage in order to warrant them charging a higher cents per mile, because they don't have the responsibility of covering that trailer as opposed to someone who does. So. Yeah.
Okay, it's understood. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So the basics of freight dispatching from a basic level is getting the carrier to a dispatch agreement, understanding how to navigate the load board, right? Carrier acquisitions, understanding load boards and finding the loads from the carrier. Once you get that dispatch agreement back, once you get the profile back. So let's go over that a little bit. Because that's one of the hurdles to get over before you can go and start booking loads with the broker and invoicing your carrier for your 5%, 7%, 10%, whatever that is. So carrier acquisition is an important step because you need to communicate with the carrier, and you're providing a service for them, saying, okay, hey, I'm an independent dispatcher. Let me see if I can find loads for you. What are your requirements? And the carrier say, well, I want $2 a mile. I have a drive-in. I only want to haul up to about 40,000 pounds. Now we know a common max weight for the drive-ins is about 42 to 45,000. But if they only want to haul 40,000, they're trying to keep their fuel costs low. That's why they're trying to haul less weight in their trailer. I only want to go so far, within between 500 and 1,000 miles. I don't want to go to these states. I want to go to these states. So they'll put all that in their profile. So when you get the profile back, you start to cater your load search for that specific carrier. Now that you have an agreement under, you cater your load search according to that profile. So you look for loads that meet the requirements of the profiles. And then when you find one, you'll call the carrier back and say, hey, I found this load. When you think of this, it's going here. This is when it's picking up. This is what it weighs. This is what it pays. The carrier say, yeah, I think I'm interested in it. Go ahead and call and check on it and see if it's still available. So and now this is high level. We'll go into a little bit detail, but this is high level right now. So then you'll call the broker, say, hey, I'm looking at load going from A to B on this day at this time. Is it still available? Because I teach on Dispatcher 101 training for beginners that when you call brokers, you ask that question up front, because sometimes some of the loads may be covered already. They may be booked already, but they're still posted on the load boards. In other words, the broker hasn't taken those loads down yet, so it gives the appearance that the load is still available. So when you call a broker, I often advise dispatchers to say, I'm looking at this load today, Friday, going from Houston to Los Angeles for a flatbed, picking up at this time. Is it still available? That's one of the first things you say after you give them the details about the load. Is that load still available? So then the broker's going to say, okay, let me check. So even though the load is posted, oh man, that load's been covered. So, and then you let them know, like I'll let them know, okay, well, it's still posted on truckloads or still posted on 123. You might want to take it down because people are going to come. You say, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and have them take it down. Or if it is available, he'll say, yeah, it's still available. What's your MC number? So now the broker's asking you for the MC number or the motor carrier number of your agreed upon carrier. You got a dispatch agreement back from that carrier, so you are contracted with them. So go ahead and give them the MC number. There have been cases where people have given MC numbers to brokers for carriers whom they have not signed a dispatch agreement for. I guess because one of the reasons being is that you may be trying to win that carrier over by proving to them that you can find them a load, and then they'll say, well, I'll sign a dispatch agreement after you find me a load. Now, that's kind of a risky thing to do. I don't advise it, but if that's what you want to do to try to prove that you can find a load for someone prior to them signing an agreement, that's your choice. I just personally don't advise it, but that's fine. So you'll give them the MC number. They'll look it up in the system. They'll say, yeah, it's still available. Then they'll look your MC number up for your carrier, and they'll say, okay, they'll say either one of two things. Either the carrier is set up with that brokerage to move loads, or they are not. If they are not, of course, they're going to say, well, who do I need to send the carrier packet to? As a dispatcher, you want to stay in the middle of the process of booking the load, so you have them send it to your email address. So you give them your email address, they'll send the carrier packet in one of two ways. They'll send it in a PDF format attached to the email when they send it to you, and then, of course, you print that out or send it to your carrier to fill out and bring back to you, or if you got the permission of your carrier to do it on his or her behalf, then you do that. Or, number two, they'll send you a link to a website to fill out the carrier packet online. So you either send that, you forward that to your carrier again, or if your carrier has given you consent to fill it out on his behalf, then you do that. So, okay. Someone has a question. I hear somebody's unmuted. Okay. So now once you, and let me go back a little bit.
I'm sorry, this is Charles.
Okay. Let me go back. With carrier acquisition too, I teach on Dispatcher 101 training for beginners, where when you get the dispatch agreement and the profile back, I also advise that you ask the carriers to send you 3, if not 4, other documents so you can have on your filing system. So when you call brokers here and there and over time, you'll already have those documents and you won't have to keep calling your carrier asking for the documents. So those 3, sometimes 4 other documents that I include to have the carrier send back to me are, number 1, the carrier's W-9, and the W-9 form. Let me show you what that looks like. Under Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, I have a Forms and Documents area. So the W-9 form. This is the W-9 form, and it's basically just saying that the carrier has an EIN number that he or she received from the IRS.gov website saying that they are a business. They have their name as it's on the tax return, their business name, DBA, doing business as, their entity type or their legal structure, whether they are LLC, sole proprietor, S Corp, C Corp, what have you in Section 3. Sections 5 and 6 is their street address, city, state, and zip. And then Part 1 here, they have their EIN number. They don't put their social here when it's associated with their business. They put their EIN number that's attached to the business to reflect who they are. And then lastly, they just sign it. So that's the first document that you get back, the carrier's W-9. The second one you get back is the carrier's MC authority. And the MC authority is the motor carrier authority, where, let me open it up here, show you my forms. There we go. The MC authority is a letter that you receive, the carriers receive from FMCSA, where they give them the authority to run their truck either interstate or intrastate. And the MC authority gives you a unique identifier, a unique MC number, which is a motor carrier number, and a unique DOT number assigned through FMCSA, which is the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, and DOT, which is the Department of Transportation. So it gives them the authority to run as a carrier, and there's different types of carrier authorities. There's 4 that I know of. There's a common carrier, and it usually says it on the MC authority. There's common carrier with the exception of household goods. A common carrier can run loads, general freight for anyone. Then you have contracted carriers. They're under contract. Then you have passenger carriers who drive those they call them Chinese buses. They drive the charter buses to New York or whatever, school buses, things like that, passenger carriers, limousines and stuff like that. And then there's HHG, household goods. Those are the moving companies. So the ones that you guys as independent dispatchers are going to deal with the most are the common carrier. So when you get a dispatch agreement back from your carrier that you just signed a dispatch agreement with, ask for the W-9, and then number 2, the MC authority letter. And then number 3, of course, you're going to need a certificate of insurance from them. And this is what a certificate of insurance looks like. So the date of the insurance, the producer is the insurance company. The insured on there is the, and it's kind of blurry, but I'm telling you what it says. The producer is the insurance company. The insured is the trucking company. That's the insured. And then over here is the insurance agent's information, their first and last name, email address, phone, and fax. Down here in this area is going to be the policy number of the insured, insurance type, and the expiration date, and the type of insurance. Typically on certificate of insurances, they have cargo insurance and liability. And the minimum requirements in most cases for cargo is $100,000, and the minimum requirements for liability is $1 million. And then down at the bottom here, you see certificate holder. Sometimes when you're booking loads with brokers, you're going to hear the broker say, we need to be listed as the certificate holder on the insurance of your carrier. That's what that means here. The brokerage they're just telling you or asking you to make sure that your carrier put their brokerage information right here. So you can either call the insurance agents and say, hey, I need a certificate holder, I need a certificate of insurance, and I need to list this brokerage as a certificate holder. So the agent is going to say, okay, well, I just need the name of the brokerage, city, state, and zip, and they'll put that information right there, and they'll say, who do I need to email this or fax this to? And again, as the dispatcher, you want to be in the middle of that. So you say, just email it back to me. So that way you have a paper trail and you're in the middle of that. You got a copy of it, and then you send it on back to the broker. Okay? So the 3 forms, again, are the W-9, the certificate of insurance, and the MC authority letter. Now, there is a 4th form, possibly, assuming that your carrier has a factoring company. If your carrier has a factoring company, then there is a form called the Notice of Assignment. It's an NOA form, and what that does is it's your factoring company's way of running the credit of the broker or the shipper. So they're doing a service for your carrier, the factoring company is. So you'll send that NOA form to the broker will fill it out, send it back to you, the dispatcher, and then you send it to your carrier, who will give it to their factoring company, and then they run the credit of that broker to see if there are any red flags, because sometimes brokers don't pay on time. There's other red flags. There's been claims filed against them from other carriers who ran for that brokerage, and they haven't been paying on time and things like that. So that's what a NOA form, that's the purpose of an NOA form. It helps the carrier to vet out brokerages who don't want to pay. So that's a benefit of using the factoring company. So are there any questions to that point as far as the documents, the other documents that you need to have on hand as a dispatcher in your filing system, so that you can always have those forms, so when you call different brokers, you already have those forms available to upload and send back to the broker so they can process that. Are there any questions so far?
This is Charles.
Hey, Charles, how are you?
Good, good. I don't have a particular question about that, but I had a question pertaining to what you were saying about getting permission to fill out the forms from the carrier. Would you recommend getting some sort of letter or something to verify that you have permission to fill out these forms for the carrier?
Yeah, I would, because you want to create some kind of documentation. If the carrier expresses it to you, implies it, text, something like that. What I've done in my dispatch agreement, if I took it a step further, this is just what I did. You guys don't have to do it, but I included it on my dispatch agreement, and I'll show you what I mean. Dispatch agreement. Because now, if it's in the agreement, so it's like a contract. And you guys tell me if you agree with this. So this is my dispatch agreement, logo and everything, right? So this is the very first thing you're going to need to get a contract to get under agreement with the carrier. To say, hey, I'm the carrier, I give you consent to find me loads, and I pay you X percentage. So it just made sense to me. Why not include them giving you also permission to fill out the forms on their behalf as well? So what I did, I did an addendum to my dispatch agreement where it says right here, okay, so we go through the agreement, you know, the general terminology in the agreement, I, the carrier, truck number this, trailer number this, MC number this, DOT number that, hereby grants authorization, permission to, and then your name goes here, to act as my agent for the sole purpose of searching for and booking loads, processing all brokerage paper. Right there, when it says right here, processing all brokerage paperwork, right there, that should be permission right there, because what is processing all brokerage paperwork entails? Filling out the carrier packet, making sure the rate confirmation is matching what the load said that the rate confirmation says. So right here should have been enough when it says processing all brokerage paperwork. That should have been enough. So once that carrier signs it, that statement right there should have been enough. But no, what I did, I added an extra statement here. I said carrier also authorizes dispatcher to complete carrier setup package for any and all brokerages / shippers on carrier's behalf, as well as complete any and all rate cons on carrier's behalf. And then I got a red here, carrier's initial here. So that right there, so if he initials that, in addition to signing the dispatch agreement, I believe that should be enough to cover you, because he's telling you he's authorizing carrier, authorizing, and I put it in bold and underline it. Carrier, authorizing dispatcher. So
how can I get that right there, or do I have to actually redo the one in the membership for the RBB?
This is mine. This is mine. So what I can do, because even prior to putting this little added sentence in here, that statement right there, I think that statement would have been, it might have held up. I'm not sure, but if the carrier's saying here, hereby grants authorization, permission to this person here to act as my agent for the sole purpose of searching for and booking loads. Okay, that's what you do as a dispatcher. Processing all brokerage paperwork. That right there should have been enough, I think. But I added this extra line. So what I'm going to do is, for those of you who want, I'll send you guys the Word document of my dispatch agreement. Here's my email. And you just say, hey, send me your Word document. And then what you do is you just basically change all of my information to match your stuff. So you change my name to your name. You change, right here, put your name here, your phone number here, your company email here, and your website here if you have one. Put your logo here for your company if you have one. And I'm going to send it in Word form so you can edit that. And then you just go through and change right here. You change this to your name. change this to your name, change this to your name or your company's name, depending on how you have yours structured, and then you change this to your name or your company name, and then however you're receiving payment, whether it's like for me it's PayPal, if you're receiving payment from the carrier in Square, then you set it up in your Square with your Square information. I'm doing mine in PayPal with my PayPal email, so you just change that. So basically you read through it and change everything to reflect your company or your name, and then I think that's it. And then, of course, you structure your own signature here, you put your own design in there. So, and that's it. So, I mean, so do you agree with that? I mean, how does that, what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it seems like it's simple, right? So this one line is just, it's this one line here or this phrase, it seems to be piggybacking off of this right here. It basically expounds this, all of this expounds on this. So there is no dispute, there is no discrepancy when they say, well, and when they say fill it out on their behalf, you're not signing your name obviously on the carrier package. You're signing for the carrier. You're not putting your dispatcher company or name and things because you're not running the load. You're signing on their behalf. That's what that means, right? So.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Okay. I only have another question, but it's pertaining to the script because I'm new. Only in the back office now for about 4 days.
Okay.
It's pertaining to the script. And I'm trying to remember. Do you do the whole script the way they have it listed at the bottom? They were saying something about once the carrier signs up, they will receive a blast of over 1,000 emails or something. You don't read all. You don't go through all of that. It's just the first stuff above that.
I think that's outdated because that was when I think we had 123 load board in there, and we were sending out text alerts to the different carriers who were in the vicinity or the radius of that specific load that was posted. I think those email blasts were sent out that way. So when I'll show you what I mean. RBBS does not have 123 load board on their back office, but I do. So I'll give you an idea what that means, though. When they did have it, there was so let's post a load here. So we would post a load because they used to be a brokerage as well. So when you post loads, let's see, we have loads posted now. So I'm going to look at this one here because I also work under a brokerage. So I have a broker login, and loads no longer available, obviously. So let's go to the dashboard, find trucks. So let's post a load first. These loads must be outdated apparently. Let me edit this. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So what date did I have it? Oh, pickup date. So let's change the pickup date to Monday, which will be what? Let's just change the pickup. Let's just change it to today, just to show why. So now this status is active. So let's go to home, and now it should show 1 under posted loads. Okay, so now it shows 1. So back when RBBS had the 123 load board, there was an ability to find trucks that was in the vicinity of that posted load. So you would find trucks, and it would give you a map of the trucks. Like so. Okay? Now can you guys see my screen and hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay. So now the load The load is here. It's picking up here and it's delivering up here. So from Franklin, Virginia to York, Pennsylvania. And this is just a sample. But it has 46 carriers. So now, and you see where they are. You know, 3 of them are here, 2 of them are here, so on and so forth, right? So when you hit alert carriers, and at all 46, you hit alert carriers, it's going to open up a little window now. And you can put whatever message in here that you want. You can put the rate that the load was for, and you can put the way that you want it to be, entire trip or per mile. So you can put either $250 per mile or $600 for the entire trip. And then you put your little message in here, what you want to say. So when it hits those 46 carriers, it'll hit them with the same message. And once you hit send, and that's what that meant. That old script format, what it meant back then when there was 1, 2, 3 load board in the back office of RBBS. Okay.
They don't have a revised version of the script, or just omit that when I
would omit that. The script should there should be when you call a carrier, you're basically gonna ask them, hey, you know, my name is Charles. And then you basically go into, I'm an independent dispatcher. I help carriers find loads. How much money do you need to move your truck? That's the script that's taught there. My script is a little bit different. I pretty much ask them, are they under a load, looking for a load? As a matter of fact, if it's not early enough, we can actually call one live, like right now. Because on my training, I try to call carriers live a lot and brokers live a lot. Usually on Saturdays, you're going to be less likely to reach carriers, or brokers, I should say, not carriers, but carriers will be available because it's the weekend and they're doing their resets and stuff. But with brokers, you're not going to be able to reach them. So let's see how that works. As a matter of fact, let me, the 3 equipment types. I also teach under Dispatcher 101, the 3 equipment types for beginning dispatchers that you want to target are the 48 to 53-foot flatbeds, the 53-foot reefers or refrigerated trailers. Those are the trailers with the TCU on the front of the trailers. The TCU stands for Temperature Control Unit. It helps keep the freight or the commodity in the trailer pre-cooled to whatever temperature that the broker wants you to pre-cool it to your carrier while they're under that load. 0 degrees, -10, -5, what have you. And then the third one is the 53-foot dry van. So that's why I select those 3 in Trucker's Path when I go to look for carriers. Okay?
Okay.
So this is thinking here. So when I call carriers, I'll ask them, are they under load, looking for a load? So right here, we got someone who posted a minute ago, LF Trucking as a dry van, Lawrence Finch. There's the information here. So what I also do when I use Trucker's Path, I also try to vet out the carrier to make sure that they're not part of a brokerage. And the tool that I use is the company snapshot from the Safer website, which is right here. So
can you send me a link to that if it's possible?
I'm doing it right now because every time I train, I always put a link on the main thing right here so you guys can grab it. Yep, I'm one ahead of you. And I also put the Trucker's Path link on the as well. So what I do here, so to read this effectively, they posted a minute ago. The company name is this. There's the equipment type. In his case, is a van. The rating, all is going to be satisfactory because I selected only satisfactory as a rating. Here's the name. It could be a company driver or the name of the company. LF, I'm assuming it stands for Lawrence Finch, and their phone number. Now, also, if you notice, at the end of each one, there's a little drop-down arrow right here. So if you click that, it's going to open up and give you more information about the carrier. So what I do is I take either their DOT, which is Department of Transportation number, or MC, which is the motor carrier number. I copy one of those. And remember, those numbers are unique numbers for each specific company that's given to them by FMCSA and DOT, right? So I take and copy that and then put it into the safer company snapshot, either DOT, MC, or name. In this case, it was DOT. And he had both, but I just chose DOT for this one. So I put the value there. And now I get more information about him. When you come up to this result set, you want to make sure that the entity type just says carrier. If it says carrier/broker or carrier/IEP, IEP stands for intermodal equipment provider. You don't want to deal with that right now, or you don't want to deal with carrier/broker, because if it says broker, it's dealing into the realm of double brokering. And right now, you don't want to deal with double brokering. So just make sure that the entity type just says carrier, okay? And then you got some other information about them. One power-only unit, basically one truck and trailer and one driver. So this is a good person to call because it's a one-man team. He posted a minute ago, so let's see what he's talking about. And it's the weekend. It's kind of early. He's in Texas. Right now it's like 9 a.m., so he may not be available, but let's give him a live call. Right here. Okay, his number is, let me turn my sound up so you guys can hear. And this is going to be the verbiage that you say, or one way, because you got information about them right here in front of you on the screen. And see, he posted a minute ago, but he's probably just looking at it in his truck.
Larry. At the tone, please record.
So he's not answering. But he posted a minute ago, which I'm assuming he was awoke, but he may be asleep. He may have stepped away from his phone. Who knows what he did? But if he would have picked up, I would have asked him, you know, hey, is this Lawrence? He says Larry. Then I would have asked him, are you under load, looking for a load for your drive-in? You know, probably next week. So here's another one, Shanita Jackson. She has a van, Jackson Enterprises. So let's look that one up real quick. And this is how you vet out carriers to make sure they're not part of brokerages. So they posted a minute ago, and then you just do the same process, either DOT or MC, copy, DOT, paste, and then we'll see after it thinks, come from there. So she has two power units, one driver. So they're in Georgia. They posted a minute ago. They're just a carrier, so you don't have to worry about that. So let's go back. Shanita Jackson. So, and they're a drive-in. So hopefully they're a drive-in, because sometimes they'll post vans as being box trucks, 26-foot box trucks. So you got to be able to differentiate and understand. So let's see what.
Hello.
Good morning. Is this Shanita?
It is.
Hi. My name is Charles. I'm with the National Dispatchers Network. I'm trying to see, you posted on truckloads. I'm trying to see, are you looking for a load for, I guess, Monday for your drive-in, or are you under a load?
No, I'm looking for a load now.
Oh, you have a 53-foot drive-in swing door?
I do.
Okay. And what do you normally, are you normally driving in the Southeast, or do you go 48? How do you?
Are y'all like a dispatch service or something?
Yeah, we're a national dispatching service.
Yeah, I'm not in it. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So you see what happened there? If they say, are you a dispatching service? She said, no, I'm not interested. So you just move on to the next one.
Yeah, okay, got it.
Right. So you gotta have a little bit of thick skin, but she wasn't rude. She didn't say like, get the hell off or whatever. She just said, are you dispatching service? I said, yes, we are a national dispatching network. She said, I'm not interested, thank you. Okay. Go to the next one. This person here is, I can't even pronounce their name. Fan. They're a flatbed. So with flatbeds, when you call the flatbed carriers, make sure that you ask them, are they a 48 or 53-foot flatbed? Because you're going to get cases where the flatbed persons are going to say, well, I got a 40-foot trailer, which is known as a hot shot. So, and you don't want to deal with the hot shots. If just starting off, you don't want to deal with hot shots. You have a hard time finding loads for them. So you deal with the 48, the standard 48 and 53-foot flatbed. Say again?
I was just wondering that, as a beginner being able to hot shots.
I mean, if you want to have that extra challenge for yourself, I personally don't recommend it. You'd be better served in working on the equipment types that move the most freight now, which are the 53-foot. Matter of fact, let's go to my website and show you that in Module 1 for carrier acquisition. Carrier acquisition here. If you were enrolled, you can only access this if you are a member of this one, Dispatcher 101. But I'm just showing you guys. So I go over carrier acquisition, and right here, equipment types to target and carrier acquisition, or getting carriers under agreement. It's just a fancy way of saying it. 53-foot dry van trailers, 53-foot reefer trailers, the refrigerated trailer. There's a TCU, the refrigerated unit, the temperature control unit on the front of the trailer, like I was saying earlier. And then the 48 to 53-foot flatbeds. Those are the ones you target. And then the methods used to acquire the carriers under the dispatch agreement and profile, of course, cold calls, and what I'm doing now, which is the truck search feature, Trucker's Path. I'm basically explaining that. And then you have another resource, quick transport solutions. You can use that one as well. And that should be in the back office of RBBS. That should be back there. I'm not sure if it is or not. Calvin teaches it, so I'm assuming it is.
It's there.
Okay. So with that one, I use it every so often, but sometimes some of those carriers are like either outdated or they're not in service or not authorized to run. So that's why I don't use it more so than I use Trucker's Path. With Trucker's Path, you see that they post like a minute ago, so you know that someone has a pulse. Someone's actually posting that they want a load or whatever, or looking for one. So, and also in carrier acquisition, we're doing what I'm doing now, the company snapshot of the Safer website with vetting out the carriers. So that's all under cold calling. And then the second way, of course, is word of mouth. You may know someone who knows a carrier, or you may know a carrier. So, and you go from there. And then you also have, like I do sometimes, I visit local trucking companies or truck stops in my area. You may have, depending on where you live, you may have local companies that you can go visit, trucking companies that may need dispatching services, or you may go to truck stops and talk to the carrier there, sit down and, have some lunch and strike up a conversation, which is what I did, and I'll do that. And then I got text scripts and email campaigns as well. And then again, I go over the dispatch agreement, the profile sheet, which is the other document that you send to the carriers initially to have them sign and send back to you. The profile sheet, you basically put your logo on it. The equipment type, they're going to put their home information, whether they want to go in the mountains, things like that. Equipment type, how much weight they want to haul. And then important things, what's their cents per mile. So, and then, I mean, pretty simple. And once you get this back with the dispatch agreement, you take this profile and kind of cater it when you search for loads for them to find that load. And then remember I was saying the other documents needed to book loads, common documents, the carrier's W-9, showing that they have a federal ID or EIN number. That's the W-9. And I give on the website, you can download the W-9 if you don't know what it looks like and things like that. So it's pretty accessible. And then the MC authority letter, which is issued by FMCSA, DOT. It shows that they have an authority to run and in different types of authority, common, contract, passenger, household goods. You click the PDF. It gives you a copy of what it looks like. You can download that. And this is in the back office of Dispatcher 101 under Carrier Acquisition, Module 1. Okay? And then you have the certificate of insurance, right? Same thing. Keenan. Keenan asked, is Calvin having a show today? No, I'm stepping in for Calvin today. Calvin's a little under the weather, allergies and stuff, Keenan. So we've been on since almost about an hour now, Keenan. So, and I'm just doing some basic stuff right now for those who are new, I should say, in dispatching. Just doing a basic level overview, and then answering any questions that you guys have, any pain points that you may have, and stuff like that. Okay? Okay. All right. Glad you're on the call, Keenan. And then the other thing, Charles, was the NOA. I mentioned that NOA form. And remember I said visiting the truck stops? Here's a carrier that I visited a truck stop. I actually had struck up a conversation with him. So, and then there's other things in here as well. So that's Module 1 under Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners. Module 2 talks about the load boards. What are load boards? How to navigate load boards and actually finding loads for your carriers. So we go into that. What are the load boards? Shippers, brokers, carriers. The 3 main load boards out there: Internet Truck Stop, which I have in my back office; 123 load boards, which I have in my back office; DAT, Trucker's Edge, which I have in my back office. And then how to navigate that, the different search features, what to look for when you're looking for the loads. Load details, because when you call the broker, you want to have as much load detail information or get as much load detail information from them, so when you go back to your carrier and communicate the load details, what you need, your carrier can make a more informed decision as to whether or not they can move that load. Because your carrier is going to put yourself in the carrier situation, because you're representing your carrier when you call the broker. Because if you're the carrier, what are some of the things you're going to ask? You know, you may be under a load now, so you're going to need to know, okay, when are the pickup and delivery dates and times? Because you may be delivering a load you may get to your receiver while you're under this load now. You may get there at 3. It may take 2 hours to unload, which is pretty standard, 1 to 2 hours to load and unload trucks, depending on where you're picking up from. So you may be done at 5 p.m. So you may not be able to get that load that day. You may have to wait till the next day as a carrier. So you can do your 10-hour reset that night and then go pick that load up the next day. So, but you wouldn't know that if your dispatcher didn't communicate effectively to you when are the pickup dates, delivery dates, and times, so you could make an informed decision whether you could get that load. So, how much does the load weigh? What's the rate of the load? What's the loaded miles? And then what's the difference between loaded miles and deadhead miles? So the loaded miles is from the time you pick it up from the shipper to the time you deliver it to the receiver, you're under that load. The carrier is under that load. So that's the loaded miles. The deadhead miles is the miles it takes from where your carrier is currently located to where they need to drive to pick that load up. That could be 25 miles away. That could be 50 miles away. It could be 100 miles away. So how many stops does the load have? What's the commodity? What are they hauling? So these are load details when you're looking for loads and you're getting that information from the broker that you need to convey to your carrier so they can decide if they want that load. And I give YouTube videos explaining all that a little bit more in details, a couple of YouTube videos in that sub area, that module 2. And I give quizzes to test your knowledge of each module right here. So for module 1, which is carrier acquisition, I give a quiz there. So for you basic people, or the ones who are beginners, here's the questionnaires for you to kind of test. And this quiz can determine whether you're ready to move from module 1, carrier acquisition, to module 2. Now, if you fail the quiz, it's not a pass-fail thing. It's just testing what level of understanding you have, so you can determine whether you're ready to move on to the next module and start understanding load boards and start finding loads for your carrier. So these are some. I ask fill in the blank questions. I ask true false questions. I ask multiple choice questions. So let's do this a little bit here. Let's see where you guys are on your level of understanding, right? And this is module 1, carrier acquisition. So number 1, if you can see the screen, I'll kind of read it to you too. And you can type in your answers if you know it, and we'll go over it a little bit. So number 1, a blank is one that should say who sends off or finds loads for their carrier under a dispatch agreement. They are responsible. This is a carrier calling me back. I should take this. Let's take this for training purposes. Hi, this is Charles. How can I help you?
Who is this?
This is Charles from the National Dispatchers Network. I must have called you trying to see if you needed a load or not. That could be the case.
No, I took the weekends off most of the time. I done sex to little boys. There wasn't nothing I was interested in.
Okay, so you're probably going to start fresh on Monday looking for something.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I got to do some, it's too cold to go outside and do any maintenance right now, so I'll probably go underneath the truck and stuff and look and check everything out, and if everything looks good, I'll probably start looking on Monday, but if I have to repair something, I'll take Monday to repair it. Okay, I understand. Now, for informational purposes, what equipment type do you have, and what cents per mile do you normally want when you run a load, like $2 a mile? Well, no, I get almost $3 a mile. Okay, so it's about $2.50, $3 a mile. And what do you have? A van, reefer, flatbed? I got a dry van and a flatbed. Okay, so for as far as the reason why I asked that, because as far as we're concerned, we try to find loads that get you to where you want to go and for the rate that you want. And I won't even call you if I can't find you a $3 a mile load because you said that's what you wanted. So. Yeah, there's a couple of brokers out here that pay me, they pay me, $450 to go from Austin to Waco. Well, that's $4 a mile. Yeah, that's a short run load. Yeah. Now, do they is that one way? Do they give you backhaul, or is that a line haul? No, I use another broker, Progressive, and they pay me $450 the other direction. Okay, so you just run that consistently, based back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No, not always. Sometimes I have to take a load from. This past week, there's a broker that had me run from Waco to Abilene for $600, and then they had me run from Abilene to Dallas for $500. I went ahead and did that, and I did the deadhead home. 2 hours deadhead home, which is about 150 miles, probably 130 miles deadhead, probably. Yeah, so that didn't hurt too much on fuel. Well, no, not considering the drop off I was picking up. There was no deadhead in between the two
Gotcha.
Took a load over there for 600. And the same place I was dropping off, I was picking up and going to Dallas for 500.
Okay.
So you're looking at 1,100. You're looking at $1,100 on 300 miles.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, yeah. I would stick with that as long as I possibly could. Okay. Well, yeah. So I just got your information just for future reference, just to see how much you're trying to get. Now, do you stay in? Are you intrastate or do you run outside of Texas?
No, I'm fixing to transfer over to just being in Texas. I haven't gone outside 150 miles quite some time.
Okay, and that's a good thing for you. I'm assuming because you want to just stay home with the family and come home every night and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I've only got one family member. It's my son.
Okay.
4-year-old son. He rides with me.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay, well, okay. I mean, maybe in the future we may be able to work together. If you want to get those $3, $4 miles from, if you're having a hard time finding something, maybe we can step in and see what we can find for you. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, bro. Okay. So that was a carrier, flatbed and dry van. He's in trust state, so he runs only within the state of Texas. And the reason why he's getting those $3 and $4 a mile loads because he's running short distances, and they're paying him a decent rate for it. So he said, if we bring out the calculator, that he'll run from Dallas to Waco or whatever. It's like and back, almost like a 300-something mile run, and they're paying about $1,100 both ways. A round trip. So. He said 330, I think he said 330 miles. So that's why he's running that, because it's giving him $3.33 a mile for that short run. So if he's smart, he would stay with that for as long as possible, because if he's doing that in one day, that means he's making, and he's doing 5 days a week, and he's home every night. So $5,500 a week at 4 weeks. That's a monthly pay, 12 months. So he's making that a year, and that's gross. So you got to factor in fuel, got to factor in tires, maintenance of the truck, insurance, truck and trailer payments if he's making them, things like that. So this might turn from 200. Let's just take out the 64. So 200,000 a year. So okay. So that was a case where a carrier actually called me back, and you got to hear some of the conversation and how I talk to them. I'm moving. The more I dispatch and the more you guys dispatch, you'll slowly progress away from the scripted format, and you'll get more into the conversational format. You'll start just having regular conversations, because you'll begin to understand how dry vans move and what the rate of those dry vans are and what the lane pays. You'll start to understand how flatbeds move and what the rate of those lanes pay, and you'll start to understand how reefers move and what the rate of those lanes pay. So then you can have basic conversations with these guys and just talk to them like, regular folk. So.
Yeah, I was glad I was able to hear that conversation, because the script sounds like an amateur. Well, not really like an amateur.
Be honest, yeah. Yeah, it's robotic, right? You get on the phone, you're like, "Hi, my name is Charles. How much money?" No. Talk like a regular person, But have your information in front of you first, right? Understand your carrier's profile. Or not even that. You're talking to the carrier first, so you're trying to get them under agreement. So understand the equipment type that they have: dry van, flatbed, reefer. Hey, this is Charles. Is this Lawrence? Yeah, I can help you. Yeah, I'm checking to see are you under load or are you looking for a load for your flatbed today? Yeah, I'm under load now, but I'll be empty tomorrow, man. What you got? So you're having a conversation back and forth. It's a dialogue. Right? And you're breaking the ice. It's a dialogue back and forth. There's no point in being scared. There's no fear. What is fear, right? False evidence appearing real. It's not real. It appears real. So the acronym for fear, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. It's not really real. It appears real. So success is on the other side of fear. Once you get over that fear hump, then you start to be successful. So success is on the other side of fear. So keep that in mind, guys. And you're going to hear a lot of no's. So what? You're going to get some yeses too and make mistakes. You know, make mistakes. Entrepreneurs are the ones who make the mistake. They take the chances. The entrepreneurs take the chances. The ones who are not successful and not entrepreneurs, those are the ones who do not take the chances. Those are the ones who stay in their safety net, in their safe zones, in the circumference. They stay within the circumference of their awareness. They don't want to go outside of that circumference to realize that there's more to what they understand or what they are aware of. So if you're safe within the circumference of your own awareness, then stay there. But if you want to go outside of that circumference and see what else is available to you, then go ahead and step outside of that circumference. I mean, I don't know what's a more simpler way to explain it. But yeah, just get over that fear, make those calls, you know, and it's the same on the broker side. Make the calls to the shippers, you know, start up a conversation with them, things like that, you know. So, but back to this here, this quiz, this is carrier acquisition. So these are some of the questions that I asked, fill in the blanks, true, false, multiple choice. Do you guys want to go over this to see what level of understanding you may have? Maybe answer some questions for you. Give me some feedback. You can chat yes, no, maybe. Because this may help answer some questions for you guys who are, because, you know, I know some people, they don't want to ask questions. So, someone said something?
Yeah, I'd like to go through it. Yes.
Okay, number one. And I need to change this because it's some information is not in here. But a blank is one, it should say who sends off or finds loads for their carrier under a dispatcher agreement. They are responsible for making the carrier's job smoother by handling most, if not all, of the administrative paperwork, etc., as a bona fide agent of the carrier as outlined in the dispatch agreement. Someone typed dispatcher. That is correct. Denise, are you cheating, Denise? You already know the answer to these. That's fine. That's fine. You can help someone else. Sergio too. Dispatcher. Number one is dispatcher. Number two, the process of finding loads for a carrier and following through the process while the carrier is under a load is blank. What is that process? What are you doing by doing that? Dispatching. That's correct. Dispatching. ING. So number two is dispatching. So a dispatcher does dispatching, right? And this is basic level now. Number three, a contract between the dispatcher and a carrier / owner operator / truck driver. These are all interrelated, whereby it is outlined what duties the dispatcher is to perform on behalf of the carrier and what are the terms of those duties is called a what? What is that contract called? Dispatch agreement. Right, that is a dispatch agreement. And that was number three. Number four, a blank is a form / document the carrier fills out and returns along with the dispatch agreement. This form / document indicates to the dispatcher how much the carrier needs to be compensated, where they would like to run, weight capacity, as well as other details. That way, a dispatcher is able to cater their load search to that carrier's profile, hint, 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 in order to meet their requirements and possibly find loads. So it's a carrier profile. Right. Correct. Number 5, blank is to move freight from one place to another. Now this one may be kind of tricky. It starts with the letter T. Transport. Transport. Correct. Sergio. Number 6. Blank is an independent contractor or trucking firm in the business of carrying freight. Let's see, somebody said. Carrier. Correct. Carrier, owner, operator, truck driver. Sometimes some of the clues to the answers could be in the question, right? So if you ever had test-taking skills when you were in high school, elementary school, or college even, you'll start to see that. Number 7, blank is the process of contacting carriers via telephone in an effort to solicit your dispatching services to them. What are you doing when you do that? It's one of the ways that I showed in carrier acquisition in the website. Cold call. Right. Cold calling. Correct. Cold call, cold calling, either way. Okay, here, the 3 main equipment types that move the most freight are 53-foot blank, 53-foot blank, and 48 or 53-foot blank. So, and we went over that, right? Yep. So van, reefer, flat. Correct, Keenan. So 53-foot dry van, 53-foot reefer trailer, and 53-foot or 48-foot to 53-foot flatbed. So that's number 8. Number 9, the truck search feature of blank is one of the methods used to search for carriers in an effort to call them. So what load board, the truck search feature of what load board that we use, I just showed you. Trucker path, correct. Trucker path. And that should be in RBBS's back office as well, right? Number 10, blank are first-time calls to prospects that you have never spoken to before in an effort to get them interested in your services. That was an answer before, but it's the same thing. So when you call a person for the first time, what are you doing? It's the same thing as number 7. It's the same answer as number 7. No one has an answer for number 10? First time, when you call a carrier from the first time and try to get them on an agreement, what are you doing when you're calling them? It's the same answer for number 7. The process of contacting carriers via phone in an effort to solicit your dispatching service. Cold calls. There you go. Okay, there you go. Number 11, the blank website is used to vet out carriers to be sure that they are not a part of a brokerage. So what website? Safer. The Safer website. That's right, Denise. It's one of the websites, Safer. And if anyone has a question as we go along, just let me know. Any of the beginning dispatchers, any of the guests, just let me know. Type it into the chat. So where are we? Number 12? This method is the least effective and used as a last resort in an effort to acquire carriers under dispatch agreement. So I'm going to give you a clue because we didn't go into detail as much. But the methods used are cold calling, word of mouth, visiting trucking companies, right? Then you got text, and then the last one is email. So that's the least effective and last resort. So if you're on the platform, you would have went over that. Dispatcher 101, you would have saw that. So I'll give you that one because you may not have known that one. It's emailing. Number 13, blank. Okay, you may not know this one either. It's a percentage range that dispatchers charge for their services. So blank is the standard percentage range that dispatchers charge. It's between what and what? Okay, somebody said 10%. Okay, 7 and 10%. Now I've noticed across the board, Keenan, it's 5, sometimes 5 to 10%. That's what I'm looking for. But you're within that range, so that's fine. So Denise said 5. So yeah, between 5 and 10% is the range. So number 14, the carrier's blank shows the carrier's having a federal ID number or EIN and a business name. So that goes into those other documents that's sent back along with the dispatch agreement and the profile. So this is one of those documents. It shows their W-9 or their EIN numbers. W-9, that's correct. Charles and Sergio, the W-9 form. Number 15, the blank is issued to the carrier by the Federal Motor Carriers, the FMCSA, in conjunction with DOT, showing the carrier as having a unique MC or DOT number. So what one is that? That's the MC letter, the MC authority letter. That's correct, Denise. See who else said something? Someone else? Right, the MC authority. 16, the carrier's blank shows the carrier as having minimums of this amount for cargo and this amount for liability coverage. So this one's is some extra information. Number 16. So if we go to the other documents, right, Sergio says, here it is right here. Certificate of insurance showing the carrier having a minimum of 100,000 cargo and $1 million liability. So, Sergio, you answered part of the question correctly. Number 16, it is the carrier's COI, the certificate of insurance, showing the carrier has a minimum of $100,000 cargo and $1 million liability. Those are some of the minimum requirements that a large number of brokerages want to see carriers have on their insurances before they even decide to run them for a load, because they want to make sure that they're able to cover the cost of that freight in case it gets damaged and things like that. So that's the requirements. So okay, make sure I'm getting some information I needed. Okay, number 17, the blank is a form that the carrier's factoring company presents to the broker or shipper in order to run their credit and be sure that they pay on time. So what is that form? NOA. I'm not going to read that. Notice of ass. See, I'm assuming you're abbreviating that, Denise. NOA form. That is correct. Notice of assignment. Yes. Notice of assignment. All right. So some of you new dispatchers who are seeing this, you will need some of these forms. Let me show you my filing system before we move on to the next portion. So when Charles, when I get back dispatcher agreements, right, if I have a TMS system that I use, Ascend, like the free version or whatever, to keep organized my drivers, but I also create file folders. Like I got 7% dispatch agreements, and I got 10% dispatch agreements. 7%. So these are all my folders of all my carriers under a dispatch agreement, right? Look at all those carriers. So for those of you who have not seen my filing system, that's what that is. And I got a spreadsheet, a color-coded spreadsheet of all these carriers in my color-coded spreadsheet, right? And first and last name, phone numbers, email, equipment type, DOT, MC, date, and any special notes, right? So, and they're color-coded. So the yellow ones are the ones who I move loads for on a regular basis. The red ones are hot shots. The white ones are ones who call me for spot loads every now and then. Hey, I'm stuck here, or I need a backhaul out of here. Can you help me out? I don't deal with them on a regular basis, but I still have a dispatch agreement for it. And then this blue one here, his MC had expired, so he's going through the process of renewing that stuff. I still have a dispatch agreement with him because he ran pretty consistently, so I kept him in my spreadsheet. So, okay. So, but the reason why I show you this is, as you get carriers under a dispatch agreement, create file folders for them, and then within each file folder, I got subfolders of the brokerages that they ran those loads for. Now, here are the files in that folder for this carrier. Here is their MC authority, here's their W-9, here's their NOA form, here's their agreement. It's a PDF. It includes the profile and the agreement in that one PDF. And then some other things I may need. I got his last four of his VIN number because there was a particular, this is a reefer carrier, so there was a particular load that they needed to run that needed his last four of his VIN. So I got all the extra documents that I need. So whenever I book a load with any of these brokers, I can just go to this, navigate to this location, and upload those documents to that specific broker. I don't have to call the carrier. It's a convenience. So now, within the broker subfolders of this carrier, I have all the rate confirmations per the loads for that specific broker for that specific carrier. So I'm keeping an itemized and an organized filing system. That way, everything is accounted for and documented. So these are rate confirmations for loads that the carrier ran. You see? And I have a whole boatload of them, just so you guys will know. That's just one example. So I can go to another carrier, right? And here are another broker subfolders for that carrier. Here's the carrier's information, his agreements, his cab cars, his MC authority, his profile, his NOA form, his certificate of insurance, his W-9. So those are the documents in the folder of the carrier. And then the subfolders, again, are the brokerages that he ran loads for me for. And then here are the rate confirmations for that specific broker for that specific carrier. You see? The same again for another one. Now with him, this is the carrier. He's a flatbed carrier. Look at all the brokers that he ran, all the brokers under this one carrier. Look at all the brokers that he ran for. And then again, here's his. So the format and the model of running this business is the same for me, and you can tweak yours to that particular format too. So again, here's the carrier agreement, the certificate of insurance. He has two of them. the MC authority, the profile, and then his trailer and truck VIN numbers, his W-9. And then again, we have all these, he had a ton of brokerages that he ran low for me. Here's Coyote again. And then rate confirmations. I even got carrier packets that I filled out for some of them in some of these, right here. Here's a carrier packet that I filled out. 1 through page 8. The actual carrier packet that I did for my carrier with their permission. That's my handwriting. But I signed it on for his behalf. So in case you guys are wondering, well, can we do this? Here you go. That's my handwriting, but it's his company. See? So in case you guys are wondering. And there goes my information right there. I'm the dispatcher. That's me. That's my email. That's my phone number. He's the account. That's his account. That's the carrier. That's the carrier, the company name. Here's the representative, the broker representative for that brokerage. So let's put all that stuff to bed about not doing this or not doing that. As long as you got your carrier written consent to do it, everything's good. See? So I'm giving you an example of that. So this is an itemized. These are all the carriers that I got under agreement, dispatch agreement. Okay? And these are folders. You can create a simple folder on your desktop and go from there. So, are there any questions about that? No? Just give you a... Okay, so let's go to true and false. Number 1, you can just put T for true and F for false. True and false. A hotshot equipment type is one of the 3 main equipment types that move the most freight. Number 1. False. That is false. Because the 3 equipment types are what? The dry vans, the flatbeds, and the reefers. So if you continually go over the basics and you master the basics, now you move into the intermediate level now. Because you understand, you know, what trucks to go after, how to go after them, how to structure your business. So now all the basic stuff is covered. So now you can focus more on finding good loads for your carrier. Finding good loads for your carrier and keeping them running consistently. So, number 2, true or false. Vetting out carriers is an extra step that is used to avoid the pitfalls of double brokering. Someone answered true. That is true, Charles. Correct. That is true. Number 3, true or false. FMCSA stands for Federal Motor Carrier Security Agency. This is a trick one. This is tricky. That is, okay, let's see. Keenan says, some people say it's false, some people say it's true. That answer is false. Number 3 is false. Federal Carrier, FMCSA does not stand for Federal Motor Carrier Security Agency. It stands for Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Right? Number 4, true or false. The EIN number, or the Employee Identification Number, is used to identify the carrier's business entity for tax purposes. True. Everybody's saying true. Everybody's on the same page. Correct. Number 5. A 53-foot dry van is not one of the 3 main equipment types that move the most freight. That is false. False, Louise. False, Keenan. False. That's correct. So number 5 is false. Number 6. A dispatcher is one who posts the loads on the load board so the carriers can call and get set up with them. That is false. So who is that person, Dan? That's okay, Luis. Better late than never. Right. The broker does that. Dispatchers do not post loads. Brokers and or shippers do. All right. Number 7. The MC authority letter is issued to the carrier by the IRS. Number 7. True or false? That is false. So who issues the carrier the MC authority letter? Just as a bonus. Who issues that? Where do they get that from? The answer is correct, Sergio. FMCSA. Number 8, NOA stands for Notice of Authority. That is false. What does NOA stand for? What does the A stand for, basically? It's not agreement. Oh, I got you. It is assignment. Notice of assignment. So notice of assignment, right here. Notice of assignment, right? Notice of assignment. And this is just one factory company, Foley's notice of assignment. That was number 7, number 8. Number 9. SAFER stands for Safety and Fitness Electronic Record System. Uh-oh. Everybody's saying false. Charles says true. Sergio says. The answer is true. If you go to the SAFER website, this is number 9. If you go to the SAFER website, what do you see right here? Safety and Fitness Electronic Records, a SAFER system. So there's your answer right there. Okay? It's number 9. Number 10, true. A dispatcher is paid before the carrier delivers the load according to the dispatch agreement. That is false. They are paid once the carrier is paid. Once the carrier gets paid, then you invoice your dispatcher whatever percentage of the gross of the load. Number 11, it is safe to book loads for carriers without a dispatch agreement because carriers' words are bond. My laughter gave away the answer, right? Oh boy, oh boy. All right, false. That is right. Number 11. Number 12. The profile sheet helps the broker determine how to route the carrier flows. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Some people saying true, some people saying false. So let's read the question. I'm going to emphasize a word in that question. This is number 12. The profile sheet helps the broker determine how to route the carrier for loads. The broker has nothing to do with routing the carrier for the loads. The dispatcher does. So the answer to this is false. Right. Right. So the answer to this is false. Because, so if you read the question, the broker is not the one, because the broker doesn't see the profile sheet. The carrier, when they send back the dispatch agreement and the profile, they're sending it back to you, the dispatcher. The broker don't know nothing about any profile sheet. He's totally oblivious to it. Right. Number 13, DOT stands for Department of Terminals. Okay, you guys got that wrong. I would have came through this camera. That's false. What does it? It's Department of Transportation. Department of Transportation. Number 14, factoring companies, I should say, are used by carriers to help provide a source of upfront income to their business. That is true. That is true. And number 15, the carrier's certificate of insurance, W-9, and MC authority letter is also needed by the dispatcher along with the dispatcher agreement and profile in order to effectively book loads. True. Correct. So that's why it's incumbent on you to get all those documents back up front. So when you find loads, you can go ahead and just upload those and attach them to emails to the various brokers as you book loads for your carrier over time. So number 16, 53-foot dry van, 53-foot reefer, and 48 or 53-foot flatbed are not the main equipment type used to move the freight most frequently. So that is correct. That's false. Because they are. Those are the ones you see on the road all the time. Pretty standard out there, pretty frequent. You're going to see, you go out on the interstate, you travel, you're going to more likely going to run into a dry van, flatbed, or reefer, more so than you would anything else, a hot shot, a straight truck, a transit van, cargo van, things like that. So that was 16. Number 17, an equipment type is defined as the type of truck and trailer that the carrier, owner, operator, or truck driver uses to move freight from origin to destination. Is that true or false? That is true. So when you're on the phone talking to a carrier to try to get them under a dispatch agreement, you say, okay, yeah, what equipment type do you drive? Or what is your equipment type? That's assuming that you don't have that in front of you from like Truckers Path or Quick Transport Solution. But if you're just cold calling based off of a carrier list and you don't see an equipment type, that's one of the things you might want to ask before trying to get signed up to a dispatch agreement, because you may be signing up a hotshot person and don't even realize it. Are there any questions about the true-false section? Anything that needs to be explained a little bit better for those beginning level dispatchers who may have questions that may need to be covered there? And all this is taught and explained in Dispatcher 101 training for beginners. My platform, Dispatcher 101, I go over that a little bit more thoroughly. It's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. During the day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, those are good times to call carriers live, call brokers live, because you can hear the dialogue and what to say and how to say it, and then you begin to tweak that to your specific company and how you want to format that model for your company. So I chose those times because those are good times to call the brokers and things like that. So no questions about true false? Okay, you sure? Beginning dispatchers, you guys under RBBS?
No, I don't have any more questions.
So everything is being cleared up a little bit more for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so if anybody have a need for any basic level training, I know Calvin teaches high level, but any basic level training, going back to the beginner's level, and then the resources that I provide and things like that. So so let's move on to multiple choice. You can just say A, B, or C. Okay, so number 1, what is double brokering? A, also known as co-brokering, when one broker who has the trucks comes to an agreement with another broker who has the loads and they book and move the freight. B, when two carriers book a load with the same broker. Or C, when two brokers double up on the shippers. So let's see what you guys said. Everybody's saying A, that is correct. That is double brokering. Number 2, what does DOT stands for? A, B, or C? Dawn of Time, Department of Transportation, or Department of Treasury? Everybody is saying B, B, B. Correct. And let me check my email real quick because I did mention that if you guys wanted a copy of that that dispatch agreement with that little phrase in there, having the carrier give you permission to fill out the paperwork on your behalf, then let me log in real quick and see who sent me an email. And also, too, if you guys want a copy of this this quiz so you guys can practice that as well, that's fine. It just tests your level of understanding of carrier acquisition from a basic standpoint. So no one emailed me, that's fine. Oh, yeah, Keenan did. Okay, Keenan emailed me. So let me send you that dispatcher agreement, Keenan. So you can have, I'll send you the Word document so you can edit it. Because I'm not sure if you have a PDF. Let me send it to you right here. Dispatch agreements, 10%. There we go. All right, on its way, Keenan. Oh, you want a copy of the quiz? Okay. So let me send you a copy of the quiz as well. Keenan, you greedy. Which is a good thing, actually. Let's see, where is that at? Under training, modules, quiz, module 1, acquisition quiz. I'm going to send a PDF. Okay? There you go. All right, so back to, so number 3, what does FMCSA stand for? A, Federal Motor Carriers Security Agency, B, Federal Motor Carriers Safety Agency, or C, Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration? What is number 3, A, B, or C? Okay, Marie says B, everybody else says C. The answer is C. The answer is C. Courtney, email me, and then I'll reply to your email, please. I'm going to put my email up here again. Answer is C, Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration. Number 4, what is the purpose of the W-9 for a carrier? A, gives the carrier the authority to operate. B, lists the carrier's federal ID or EIN and name of the business for tax purposes. Or C, lists the carrier's level of cargo and liability coverage. So number 4 is people are saying B. Correct. B is the answer. Number 5. What is, now 4, 5, and 6 is given the same answer. So by process of elimination, you can choose the other ones that you did for the previous one, right? So that's kind of the hint. So number 5, what is the purpose of the certificate of insurance for a carrier? A, B, or C, gives the carrier the authority to operate, lists the carrier's federal ID or EIN number and name of business for tax purposes, or list the carrier's level of, so it's C, by process of elimination, right? There you go. So then number 6 could only be the only answer left over from the previous 2 answers. So number 6, what is the purpose of the MC authority for the carrier? Obviously, it's not B and it's not A, so the only one that's left, I mean, it's not B or C, so it's A for number 6. It gives the carrier the authority to operate. That's the MC authority. And of course, authority is the key word in the question and the answer for number 6. Right. Number 7, what is the purpose of the dispatcher agreement? A, B, or C? A, contract between the broker and carrier to move loads. B, contract between dispatcher and shipper to move loads. C, contract between carrier and dispatcher to move loads. It is C. The answer is C. Number 8, what is the purpose of the carrier profile? A, dispatcher planning the route for the carrier. B, where the broker tells the carrier the load details of the load. Or C, where the carrier tells the dispatcher how they want to run, how much they want to make per mile, etc. There you go. C. It is C. Number 7, or number 8, I'm sorry. Number 9, the truck search feature of which load board do we use on the Dispatcher 101 training for beginners? 1, 2, 3 load board, DAT, which is dial a truck, or trucker's path. And everybody's saying C. It is C. Number 10, what does MC stand for? Now, I should have said in transportation because it does stand for some of these. Master of ceremony, motor compliant, or motor carrier. Everybody's saying C. That is correct. So it's good to go over the basics because it gives you a rehash of your level of understanding of that, so you can go and proceed on to a more advanced or more intermediate level understanding. Number 11, what is the safer FMCSA company snapshot website used for as it relates to carriers? It is used to vet the carriers out to determine whether they are part of a brokerage in order to call. B, check on broker's credentials. C, check on shipper's credentials. Everybody is saying A. That is true. 12, what is cold calling? Using your phone in the snow, calling someone for the first time in which you do not know, or being hung up on. It is B. Right, cold calling, because you don't know that person. Number 13, which of these types of authorities does not apply to motor carrier? Broker of property, common carrier authority, contract carrier authority. So the answer is in the actual wording. So which one does not apply to carriers? A, because a broker is not a carrier. Number 14, which of these types of authorities apply to motor carriers? Broker of property, broker of household goods, or common carrier authority? It is C. The other two are the two types of broker authorities. You have broker of property and broker of household goods. Now, coincidentally, when you do call the brokers and try to book loads with them, the brokers the type of authority that the brokers have, 9 times out of 10 is going to be the broker of property. Unless you are a moving company and your carrier's authority is a household goods authority for the carrier, then you'll be calling a household goods broker. But generally, 9 out of 10 times, you're going to be calling a broker who's a broker of property. Just as a sidebar for you guys to know. Number 15, what is the role of an independent freight dispatcher? To post loads, to sign up carriers, to move those loads. B, to have broker assist them in moving loads and moving their commodity of freight. Or C, to help carriers find and book loads. Everybody is saying C. That is correct. Number 16, what is a carrier / truck driver / owner operator? Who are they? What are they? They are the intermediary between the shipper and the carrier. They are responsible for transporting goods, freight, commodities from pickup location to destination location, and is paid for that service. C, sales, or I should say sell their freight either directly to the carrier or broker their freight out to the brokerage. So the answer is B. So as a sidebar, so what is A? Who is the intermediary? Who is the intermediary between the shipper and the carrier? Who is that person? Who's the middleman between the shipper and the carrier? The broker. That is correct. It's not the dispatcher, Marie. The dispatcher will be the middleman between the carrier and the broker. The broker will be the middleman between the shipper, who's their customer, and the carrier. Okay, just so you know, just FYI. And then C, who sells their freight either directly to carriers or broker their freight to different brokerages? Who does that? The shipper. Very good. Okay, good. All right. So that is the quiz on Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners, Carrier Acquisition Module 1. Each module has a quiz that talks about it, booking loads, invoicing carrier, things like that. So let me see some other people asking me for stuff. Okay, I thought it was, but okay. So Kimberly wants the dispatch agreement and quiz. So while I'm sending this to you guys, any questions? Let's do some Q&A. Any questions? I'm gonna send the quiz to you, Kim. And no questions?
Did you change it in our
I didn't hear that question. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you clearly.
I said, did you change it in our dispatcher information online? The dispatcher agreement. Did you go back and
yeah, do you have access to are you part of the Dispatcher 101 training?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, I did change it, and I'll go ahead and show you that so you can see. Who am I speaking with?
Marie.
Oh yeah, okay, Marie. Yeah, under carrier acquisition, the dispatch agreement should be changed. The PDF should be changed to reflect the new information. Here it is right here under Module 1, Carrier Acquisition. If you scroll down to Dispatch Agreement and Profile and you click the PDF, it should reflect the new changes right there.
Okay.
So if you have access to that, you can just click it here and download it for yourself. Right?
Okay.
Okay? All right. So that's for those who are members of Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners platform. She's asking that question as it relates to that. So if you are a member, you have access. So Denise wants the updated agreement. Okay, Denise. Any other questions?
I have one, but it's not concerning that.
Go ahead.
Last week we was talking about cheap freight, CP something.
Yeah, CPM.
Yeah, you gave me your number, but I couldn't find it. I wrote it down somewhere on a piece of paper. But is it possible you can go over that? Or you want me to call you one-on-one?
Yeah, we can go over cheap freight. Calvin had got a lot of flack from that. I'm not sure because this is recorded, so call me. We'll go over it in one-on-one because I'm recording this and I'm doing it for Calvin, and he had some flack for that. So I don't want to ruffle any feathers there. But call me personally because I want to make sure I get the okay. But what cheap freight means is just because most carriers are asking for freight that's like at astronomical cents per mile numbers, right? But you can still make good money off of smaller freight if you just set yourself up with consistent loads. Like if your carrier gets customers that are paying you like $1.75 a mile, and you run those loads all week. So let me send this to Sergio real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you an example of he wants to agree with. Okay. So on average, let's break out the calculator here. If you have carriers who run like, let's say, 3,000 miles a week, right? 3,000 miles a week sounds like a pretty average, and that's 5 days a week. So let's see. They're running 3,000 miles a week by 5 days. So that means they're running 600 miles a day. That should be pretty feasible because you can run your truck for, you can do 14 hours a day, and you can do 11 hours straight. So if you drive 11 hours straight and then take your break and all that stuff, 3 hours, take a break and 30-minute breaks, and then the hours for being loaded and unloaded and stuff like that. So if you can run 11 hours straight, and if you're driving at what's the average speed limit now for? I know the interstates like I-80 and 95 and 85. It's like 70 miles an hour, but some trucks are calibrated to only go 65 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put 65 miles an hour. So if you can drive 11 hours straight and you're driving 65 miles an hour, you can do 715 miles in a day, right? If you're driving 5 days a week, that means you're driving 3,535 miles. So that's simple math right there, right?
Yeah.
So if you're making $1.50 per mile, that's $5,362.50 per week. That's a pretty cheap rate, $1.50. Say it's $1.75. Let's divide it by $1.50 and get back to the. So it's 35. That was per week, $35.75. So let's say it's $1.70. Anything under $2, I guess, is considered cheap freight, right? At this point, for a lot of carriers. So why is this spinning? Let me log out of here real quick. So 3,575 miles a week at 65 miles an hour, 11 hours straight. So because if you're familiar with hours of service, HOS, you can drive up to 14 hours a day, and then you got to take a 10-hour reset. So that totals 24 hours. You get 24 hours in a day, 14 hours you can drive, 10 hours you got to rest. So within those 14 hours, you can drive up to 11 hours straight. And then that 3-hour gap you use you get a 30-minute break, and then the other time you can use for the time that you're going to be, you're on duty but not driving. Like you're at a loading dock, being offloaded and unloaded and things like that. So that's how you keep track of that's how carriers keep track of their log books and things like that. That's how we used to do it when we had the paper logs. With the ELD now, everything's done electronically and digitized. So, but the concept is the same. So you still can drive 11 hours straight within that 14-hour window, and you still have to take a 10-hour reset every day. And then after so many hours, after either 70 or 80 hours, depending on if you drive in 6 or 7 days, you got to do what's called a day-and-a-half reset, or what's called a 34-hour reset. A day, not a day and a half, but a day and 10 hours. A day is 24 hours. The extra 10 hours makes it 34. That's where they get the number 34-hour reset, because it's a day plus 10 hours. Okay? You follow that?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get back to the number example. This number here, 3,575, reflected that 11 hours straight drive time at 65 miles an hour. Because I think the trucks are calibrated to go no faster than 65 miles an hour. Now, if they go 70 miles an hour, then you can drive. It'll be more miles. But let's just say 65 miles an hour, right? So that's 715 miles a day, and they're driving 5 days a week. So that's where that number came from, 3,575 miles per week. Now that's per week. If you're making on average $1.75 per mile, which is anything below $2 a mile is considered cheap freight, right? No matter what equipment type, drive-in, flatbeds, or reefer, that's considered cheap freight to the carriers out here now. So $1.75 at the weekly miles that you drove, no matter where you went in the country, you drove a total of 3,575. So now you're at $6,256.25 for the week. Now that's gross. You didn't factor in fuel costs. You didn't factor in maintenance of the truck, tires, or anything that came up. This is just a gross number, right? So that's considered cheap. So now, and that's per week. You got 4 weeks in a month, sometimes 5. So now you made $25,025 gross that month times 12 months. Now you made $300,300. Who in their right, and that's gross. What driver in their right mind wouldn't want to make $300,300 for the year? That's gross. Now let's take 20% of that for taxes, right? What's a good tax number? What's a good annual tax number for realized income these days? Is it 15%? Is it 20%? What is a good number? 15%. So, okay, let's take the 15% example. So we'll multiply that by 15% because this is realized income, even though it's gross. We want to factor in our 15%. So $45,045. So we're going to subtract that, right, to get our net. So now we still haven't factored in fuel. We still haven't factored in fuel costs and things like that. But this is what you're going to gross. I mean, this is what you're going to net after taxes. So you pay Uncle Sam now. So this is what you get per year: $255,255 per year after taxes. So that's net. So now let's say your expenses for the year, or let's say your expenses for the month. Give me a good monthly expense that you think you will pay as a carrier, and that includes fuel, tires, any maintenance of the truck, insurance. You see what I'm saying? So let's say a good month. What is it? Okay, but give me a number let's say you pay so much for tires because you may have tire trouble all the time, but in a month's time you may pay X amount of dollars for a new tire or for tire repair. You may pay X amount of dollars for fuel over the cost of driving those many miles. You may pay maintenance, insurance, upkeep. So $2,700 per month, and that includes everything, right? It's just a good round number. So
For
So 2,700. Kim said 2,700 times 12. So that encompasses everything. So now that's $32,400. So we're going to take that $32,400 and subtract it from the 255, right? That's your expense and cost of doing business for the year. That's just a key need to throw out there. It could be your number is. I'm just showing you the mechanics and the method of figuring out what number is going to be with cheap freight. So now after you pay Uncle Sam and after you cover all your expenses for the year, this is what you're bringing home with cheap freight as an example. So I don't know what carrier would not be happy, and that's one truck. I don't know what carrier would not be happy with bringing home $222,855 after Uncle Sam took his money and after he covered his costs of doing business, whether it's the truck and trailer expenses, insurance, tires, fuel, maintenance and upkeep, things like that. Right?
Right. Okay, what I'm confused about is the standard. You know, when the first started, they said, don't take anything under $2 and some odd cents. If the person is saying $2.75, you try to get $3. Now he's saying cheap freight, don't turn cheap freight away. So it's a double-edged sword like that. So you do or you don't. You just take everything that comes about, you take it in, is what he's saying then, right?
Not necessarily. I think first starting out with that cheap freight thing, I think at the time, freight was real high. At the time when I came in, freight was real high. You could pretty much get $2, $2.50 a mile, $3 a mile. But as you evolve and progress in the transportation industry, and you start figuring out numbers, and you start as carriers, you start understanding the cost of running your business, and you figuring out the numbers, you can start to realize that you can still make a living with cheap freight as you could with normal freight. So it's not to say don't turn down the higher paying freight. Of course, the higher paying freight, the more you can get for your cents per mile, then obviously the more money you're going to make. That no one's saying that. Right. What we are saying is that just because the freight is cheaper doesn't necessarily mean you still can't make a living. So it's not really a double standard. It's just saying that you can still make a living off cheap freight, but if you do get higher cents per mile, obviously, of course, take it if you can get it. But it doesn't. But it's not to say that you don't turn down, because if you turn down cheap freight, that means you're going to have zero. So if you stay at home and not make any money, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to have any money to make, but your expenses are still going to incur. The insurance company still wants their money. They still want their monthly premium, whether you run your truck or not. You still got to pay insurance. So if you're thinking smart, I got to take something because I still got expenses to cover. I still got to cover insurance of the truck and trailer. If you don't own your truck and trailer, you still paying insurance to it. You're still leasing that. Even if you own it, you still got fuel. You still got tires. You still got maintenance of the truck. So if you got the mentality of a carrier saying, well, I'm not going to take cheap freight, I'm just going to park my truck and not move. Okay. If you got a slush fund over here and money set aside, that money's still gonna dwindle, as opposed to you running and still building up money. So you can still make a living with cheap freight. You just have to understand your numbers. You have to understand the cost of doing business, and that applies to each carrier individually. Every carrier has different sets of expenses and accountability for their trucking company. So after you figure out your costs, then you say, okay, what's my break-even point? And then anything after that is profit. So if my break-even point is $1.50 a mile, then I'm okay with anything better than $1.50 a mile. So if I get $1.75, I'm profiting. If I get something less than $1.50, I'm in the hole. So as a carrier, you have to have that mentality. First of all, as a carrier, it's your truck, it's your company, so you have to understand what your numbers are. So some carriers, they'll throw out outlandish numbers. I want 325 a mile, knowing that they're never going to get that right now because the rates don't dictate that. So carriers have to understand that. The rates are dictating what cents per mile that you're getting. So some carriers don't see that. That's why they're constantly on load boards looking for loads. Did you know some of the better paying loads are not even posted on the load boards?
Yeah.
Some people don't even know that.
You told us that.
Other carriers don't know also too that this is how some carriers think. Some carriers will say, okay, I'm gonna broker all my loads. I'm gonna look for my line haul from a broker. I'm gonna look for my back haul from a broker. They're setting themselves up for failure. They're gonna always be in a hole. As opposed to, I tell carriers like, look, get you a regular customer for your line haul, for your loads going out, and then maybe broker your loads back haul to your money load. Get a regular customer and get consistent with that going down, and then broker coming back up. Until you can build to a point where you get a regular customer coming down and a regular customer coming up, then you won't have a need to get on the load board. You won't even be looking on the load board. If you got a consistent customer going down and back haul, why do you need to be on the load board? Your money is consistent.
Mm-hmm.
You're not even wasting time on the load board. Mm-hmm. So, but as far as that cheap freight thing and high freight, each carrier's case varies. Each carrier knows their circumstances. One carrier may have a leasing agreement with a company, lease to purchase, a lease purchase option on the truck, so they're paying for truck and trailer insurance as well as truck and trailer payments because they're leasing, so their insurance or their expense is higher than someone who owns their truck and trailer and they're just paying the insurance on their truck and trailer. So each person's dynamic or paradigm is a little bit different from the other, which dictates or warrants a different expense for each of the carriers. So that's why I was saying each carrier has to know their numbers to decide what their break-even point is. $1.50 may be a good number or break-even point for this carrier. $1.75 or better may be for that carrier. So, you see what I'm saying? So that's how that works. So the carrier has to understand. So as a dispatcher, if you know this and you have a better understanding as well, if you educate yourself as well, that's why Calvin used to say, dispatchers, sometimes we educate our carriers because some carriers may not know this. I mean, contrary to popular belief, some carriers may not know this, and they've been running for years. So, there you have it.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though. Who is this? I'm sorry.
Marie.
Marie. Okay, yeah. Marie, I should recognize your voice because you be asking me questions left and right, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a good question. So the answer is not really a double standard. It's a question of whether the carrier really understands their business, their ability to know what their expenses are, and then correctly look for loads that meet their requirements. So that's what it really boils down to.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions in that regard, or? That was a good question, actually. That was a good question because you have to understand, we have to understand. And for those dispatchers who are dispatching for, like you may have a wife or husband who's running their own truck, and you guys have a trucking company, independent, trucking company, you guys might want to factor that stuff in too. You should know already what your expenses are though, and then factor in what your cents per mile is, how many miles you're running per week, put that cents per mile in and calculate if that number minus your expenses is something that you guys can live with as a business. And that's how you figure out whether your trucking company is going to be a profit or you're going to always be operating at a loss. So those are some of the good things. Those are the indicators to look for. What are the economic indicators or what are the business indicators for your trucking company to look for when you decide to consider whatever cents per mile you want to take for a load from a broker? So, okay. Here it is. I was looking for something. some of the indicators to look for: truck and trailer payments, insurance payments, maintenance costs, tires, fuel. If you have a driver, you got to consider driver pay. You have to consider plates, permits, and tags. IFTA, you got to consider IFTA. You got fuel tax per each state that you drive in. You have IFTA. And then you got toll fees, and different taxes there. So all those expenses, you put them to the side, and then you figure out how much you make minus those expenses. See what that net is, and see if that's something you can live with. If it's not, then consider raising your cents per mile up a little bit until you can get above or break even, and then start to get above and operating at profit as opposed to operating at a loss. So, any other questions?
Hey, Charles. How you doing this morning?
Yes. Who is?
It's Keenan, Charles.
Hey, what's going on, Keenan? Long time.
Doing great. Yeah, long time, partner. Let me say hello to everybody on your platform, man. So far, you're doing a great job, man. I'm enjoying this show. Kind of sharpening up my skills. But this is the question I had to ask you. You know how these drivers are? You want to charge them 5 or 10% of the load? But I'm running into a lot of carriers now want to give you that flat fee. You know, that flat fee rate. But when you got one of these local guys, they running 3 times a day sometimes. That's like 15 loads a week, and they want to hand you $350, $400 every load.
Right. So look, that's a good point you're making. Charging a percentage per load as opposed to charging a flat fee. So what you do is you weigh the options. What's the benefit of each one? Like you just gave an example. If you charge a flat fee per week, like say $350 a week, but your carrier is running like 4 or 5 loads a week, so are you willing to do all that work for just that flat fee of $350, and he's running those many loads? Or are you willing to do a percentage per load? So which one are you going to make more money from as a dispatcher? And that's what you consider. And if you are considering charging a carrier a flat fee, you might want to ask the question going in, well, okay, on average, how many loads per week are you going to run? And even better yet, I'll do this. I'll charge a flat fee based on how many loads he's going to run. So if he's going to run 3 loads a week, I'll charge him a flat fee of $750 a week or $500 a week. If he's going to run more, so the fee should be based in proportion to the number of loads he's going to run per week. If you want to go the flat fee route, otherwise go the percentage per load route. You'll be safer that way. But if you decide to go the flat fee route, charge a flat fee in proportion to the number of loads per week they run. You see what I'm saying? So it'll make your life so much easier, and it'll get the carrier to think, because it seems like the carrier is trying to take advantage of you to save money.
Yeah.
And then you're overworking yourself, and you're overworking yourself, and you're undervaluing your work by doing that. So if you set up a structure with the flat fee side where you charge the flat fee in proportion to the number of loads that they run per week, so that makes it easier. So a person may run 2 loads a week, so the flat fee is this. They may run 3 loads a week or 4 loads a week, so the flat fees are this and this. So it's in proportion to the number of loads they run per week. That way you're safe. But if you say $350 a week, no matter how many loads you're running, you're going to work yourself to death. And that's not a good way to go. You understand?
Gotcha. Appreciate that, Charles.
Yep, no problem. That's a good idea, though. Charge a flat fee in proportion to the number of loads. Now, whatever you set that number to, like say you set $200, a flat fee of $200 per load that you run. So if he runs 3 loads a week, that's what, $600 for that week. If he runs 4 loads a week, that's $800 for the week. So now if the carrier agrees to that, that's great. So maybe $150 or $175, but keep it in the range between $150 to $200 per flat fee per load per week. But I think you'll be better served if you do the percentage side in the flat fee, unless you go with that proportionate idea. Because you don't want to, one thing you never want to do in this business is overwork and undervalue your worth. That's one thing you don't want to do. Because even though most carriers say, oh man, all you do is just sit at home and do this. Yeah, well, there's a lot to it though. There's a lot to it. You're dealing with different personalities and different dispositions all the time. You call different carriers who have different personalities and different dispositions. So your personality and disposition has to be versatile enough in order to deal with those different, people. And on top of that, you call in different brokers or different shippers. So your personality and disposition have to be such versatile enough to deal with those. So you're dealing with two different paradigms, different models, different people, different sides to the same industry, carriers, brokers, personality. So you're in the middle of that. So your mentality has to be level enough to deal with that. So there's more to it than most people think. It's not easy in that sense. I mean, we sit at home, that's fine. We work for ourselves, that's fine. But there's a lot of work to it. There's a lot of work to it. Being your own boss, being your own employer, there's a lot of work to it. You build the infrastructure from within, and you set up that foundation so it can become automated and run itself. But while you're doing that, there's a lot of work to that. So, we good? Everybody? Any questions? Q&A? Any questions about the basics? Let me cover this too. If you are, let's see, Monday is the last day for if you wanted to join Dispatcher 101 training for beginners at the $149 price, where you get access to the back office, all these tools and resources, the trainings 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 11 to 1. You get 3 ebooks for free, the glossary for free. Joining the Facebook Dispatcher 101 Training for Beginners group, things like that. Monday is the last day for that. It goes back to the regular $249 price. If you are interested in Dispatcher 101 training but cannot afford that $249 or $149, I do have the ebook specials and the glossary specials, the 3-for-1 and the 4-for-1. You buy the Dispatcher 101 ebook, $39.99, and you get the other 2 for free, or you purchase the Dispatcher glossary for $49.99, and you get the 3 ebooks for free. So it could be kind of a springboard for you to jump into the basics, and it could also help you on the other platforms because it's giving you basic level understanding, basic level knowledge. Let me show you guys what I'm speaking of. And open it up for you. The glossary has the basic terms. So when you're first coming into RBBS or this one, you will have a level of understanding. Glossary. The glossary of terms. And it breaks it down in subsections. What is a dispatcher and dispatching, the basic terms and glossary. I put it in PDF format too, but I just wanted to show you the document. So load boards, all the different terminologies involved with that, and it's pretty extensive. So I got a message here from Charles. Okay, you're trying to email you a copy of test or a copy of Charles, you need a copy of the quiz and the dispatch agreement and Word document form. Charles?
Yes.
Just text me put your email in the private. I'll go ahead and just copy and paste it and send it that way.
Okay.
All right. All right. So this is the glossary. All these terms, this is stuff that you're going to run into. I created this basic glossary because as I was moving loads, booking loads for a period of time, you come across a lot of terminology that you may or may not understand. So why not put it in one centralized location so you can understand what it means for future reference. And you can use this as a reference guide. So while you're developing your dispatching business, you use it as a reference guide. So there's a PDF of it. It's a 7-page glossary. And then I also have the PDFs of the Dispatcher 101 ebook. That's a 40-page ebook. Dispatcher 101, training for beginners, going through different things, table of contents. I've designed all this myself. What else? How much money you need to move your truck, ebook, 34 pages. So all this content on a basic level tells what is in it and goes over everything. So breaks it down. Call script, I give a call script, everything. Carrier, dispatcher for getting a dispatcher under agreement. Different content in here, screenshots, everything. I mean, and then also what else? Level 2 talks about, it's an intermediate, it talks about rate confirmations and carrier packets. So, I mean, and different resources. I mean, I don't know what else, different, so much information. So, so there's a 3-for-1 and a 4-for-1. If you can't afford to join the platform, like at this point, you still can get a, I'm doing that now, Charles. You still can get a springboard into deciding to join later on. So, any questions about that? Or any questions in general? So we're going to wind down, heading towards 3 hours at this point, right? Oh, I got an email from you already, Charles. I just didn't check my email and reply to it. So let me, you guys send the stuff in Boxby agreement. And you want the quiz too, right, Charles?
Yes.
Okay. Quiz. All right. There you go. All right. So, yeah, on the website, www. Matter of fact, let me that there. If you wanted to join this, I need to change some of this stuff up too, by the way. Put this on here for you. Hopefully I answer some basic level questions for you guys. And then of course, I'm easily accessible. I can be reached. That's my cell number. There's the ebook page, so I can give you a copy of that. And the offers are here. The 3-for-1. This is the 4-for-1, and this is the 3-for-1. And cut and paste that there as well, in case you guys are not ready or prepared to join Dispatcher. And I'm adding more stuff to the platform myself. So, all right, guys. Any more questions about the basics? Again, I teach in modules. Like module 1 is getting the carrier under agreement, carrier acquisition. Module 2 is understanding what load boards are, their purpose, and how to properly navigate them to find loads for your carriers. Module 3 is when you find a load, booking the load, in which you call the broker, go through that dialogue with the broker, and then get set up and book the load. And then module 4, once your carrier delivers, you know, how to invoice, whether you through PayPal, whether it's through Square, things like that. And then I got forms and documents, tools and resources. Matter of fact, what's tools and resources? Dispatcher tools and resources. Oh, okay, yeah. I think I added some stuff here. Different stuff. Dispatch training manual, dispatching regulations. Let me add this. What is this? Oh, yeah. I got an extra 133-page PDF training manual from I purchased this from a freight broker, a dispatching school, freight movers. 133 pages, PDF downloadable. Talks about setting up your home-based business as a dispatcher, home-based business dispatcher, all the way through the different structures of that. So all these resources back here, business plans, chapter 2, goes in a bunch of detail about that. So that's a good resource in the back office. Setting up your home office, what do you need? The tools, the computer, the printer, things like that. So the legalities of it, the business structure, the business entity types. I mean, hey. So, and that's in the back office under the Dispatcher 101 Tools and Resources, the glossary, the ebook explain, all my training videos back here. Speaking of which, if you guys get a chance, you can go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, like, share. In my training videos area. Let me go there before this training ends here to show you. Someone asked something. He said we need that in RBBS back office. What is that, Keenan? It says, Louis says, I'm searching for RGN trailer at the Trucker's Path. What equipment type do you think it belongs? Flatbed. You can put flatbed or other. In Trucker's Path, Louise, you can check flatbed and you can check other at the same time, and then hit search, and you come across RGNs. Okay. Wait, here's the YouTube channel. If you were to go to Dispatcher 101, and you have to type it all the way out, 101 training for beginners, right? You will come across my channel. You just click on it. Now you come across all my videos. So what I'll do is I'll post that there. So you can watch the videos and then subscribe, because I need some subscriptions to build up my YouTube channel, if you don't mind. But there it is. So all my videos are there. I think it's like 50-something videos, but they're in there. So. So, and then if you are a member of Dispatcher 101, of course, all the videos are in the back office. So, and they're numbered. When I first started, Training 101, Cold Calling Video 2, I actually did Cold Calling Live, Cold Calling Continued. I still do cold calls to this day, and I try to do at least 3 cold calls and 3 broker calls. I try, because I want to call at least the 3 equipment types, flatbed, drive-ins, or reefers, so the people who are in the trainings can hear the different dialogue or dialogues from those different equipment types, so they'll know when they start calling themselves to, you know, what to say and how to say it and things like that. So, dispatcher concepts, contacting brokers, and these videos are about at least 2 hours each. So the glossary, I went over that. Cold calling and more, cold calling. So more cold calling. I mean, because cold calling is important. I give away carriers. I don't keep, when I call the carriers and they want to do a dispatch agreement, once I hang up, and people who are on this training right now can vouch for that, those who know me, when I call, the next thing I say when I get off the phone is, who wants this carrier? if there's anyone on this training right now that heard me say that, just say yes or true, because when I call the carriers and I call them and they'll say, yeah, I want to sign me up for an agreement. As soon as I hang up the phone, I say, who wants this carrier? Who wants this? Because I don't need them. Yeah, everybody's saying yes.
True.
I give them away. I give carriers away. Give them away. So I even got a video, carrier giveaway. Helping others, spot trading. I mean, so, and it's from a basic perspective, because I want everybody to get on the same level from a basic standpoint, so as a team, as a group, as a unit, we all can grow together. That's my goal. That's the purpose that I want. That's the reason I formulated this dispatching one-on-one training for beginners. So I want all of us to grow together. So, because when I was in RBBS, when I first started, I noticed a lot of basic level questions were being asked. So I said, and I was one of the ones who were answering a lot of the questions in the chat. So I said, okay, well, instead of doing that, let me just create a platform so I can reach more people that way. So, and that was the birth of Dispatcher One-on-One Training for Beginners. So, and then I got under a brokerage now. I work as an agent under a brokerage, so I formulated Freight Broker One-on-One Training for Beginners too. So those who are heading toward the freight broker. So we got modules there. So, and I may get back into website, helping people with websites. I got to find the time, because people have been asking me about designing their websites. Because this website here, I did all this myself. Now, this is on the Wix.com platform, but all the content, all the videos, all the design is me. I did all of this. So if you like how this looks or want something different, I may consider getting back into that as well. So just let me know. So we got about 8 minutes, guys. If there are not any more questions or comments or concerns, again, I put my phone number up there because I'm reachable, so you can call me as well. Only thing I ask is to text me prior to, because I could be either on a call or doing something with the wife or whatever. But if you have a question, or put it in join the Dispatcher One-on-One Training for Beginners Facebook group. There's a lot of questions getting asked and answered in there as well too. So, okay, guys, enjoy your weekend. For those who are on the Dispatcher One-on-One Training, I see you guys on Monday at 11 for the Monday edition of Dispatcher One-on-One Training. Okay, for those who want to join, you can reach out to me. And let's see the enrollment. I think I sent you guys the enrollment link up here. Looking for, yeah, I did. Okay. Looking forward for those who are interested in joining. The more the merrier. So, no more questions, anyone? This was a very good training today. Hopefully you guys got the information that you needed and the questions answered that you needed answered. Okay? And I think Calvin's going to upload this to his YouTube channel. I'm definitely going to put it on mine. I may entitle it Substitute Teacher or something like that. So, all right. All right, you're welcome, Kim. Thanks, Sergio. And for those who are beginning dispatchers on RBBS platform, if you need a basic level training, you have an option now, Dispatcher One-on-One Training for Beginners. And even if you can't join, there are the ebook purchase options too to get you springboarded into learning the basics. The 3-for-1 ebooks or the 4-for-1 glossary and ebook. So if you want that to start off, contact me for that as well. So you guys enjoy your weekend, and I see you guys who are dispatchers on Monday. So, and those who are not part of that platform, you still can join as a guest just to see what we do. And if you are at the point where you're deciding if you want to join it or not, you're on the fence, log in as a guest, and you may not be able to access the resources, but you can still log in as a guest and see what we do. So when we call carriers live, when we call brokers live and do that dialogue, see what we do, and then make an informed decision yourself. So, all right? All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. And then I'll see the other guys on Monday for training, okay? See you guys on Monday. All right.